Hello everyone, welcome to the Comic and Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I am here to talk about Harley, the Harley Quinn animated series, Season 2. Season 2 just wrapped up, and I'm not going to get into too many spoilers, but honestly, you guys know how I am. If you're watching my video and you haven't seen the thing, you know, I can try my best. I really only am, I can try my best to describe it. But eventually, I can't hold myself. I might end up leaking out spoilers. I might get into my thoughts and just leak out a spoiler or two. Only time I'm good with that is with movies, because I feel like movies, I can do that a little bit easier of a job, because the movies are like, it's just a 2-hour to 3-hour experience, so you can kind of bulk it down, and it's, you know, it's a straight through experience, so you can kind of bulk it down, whereas a TV show, it's like week to week to week. It's like, my thoughts change week to week anyways, and you're going to give me a week to think about the movie before I get to the next week? It's like, my thoughts are going to change. Now, the first season of Harley Quinn was excellent. I think it's one of the best comic book animated things ever made. The first season 1 of Harley Quinn is one of the best comic book adaptations ever. It does so much for that character. It does so much for every character. Either you're talking about Clayface or King Shark or Dr. Psycho, or the amount of, or it did wonders for Kite Man, because Kite Man became a real three-dimensional interesting character. The Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn relationship was fantastic. The way the Batman character was in it, but kind of was in and out, but he was in it and he was prominent and he kind of loomed over all the things going on because he's the Batman. The Harley Quinn and Joker relationship was beautifully funny and executed perfectly, and it had heart, it had humor. It was like a raunchy It's like a raunchy Guardians of the Galaxy in a strange kind of way. And the first season of Harley Quinn was perfect. Like, and it's funny when that ended, it ended right around the time Birds of Prey. When that had ended, Birds of Prey was coming out, and I was thinking to myself, yo, why can't Birds of Prey be like this show? This show is everything Birds of Prey isn't. Like, Birds of Prey is just so hardcore and sexist against men. Like, that's just what it is. It's really hardcore sexist against men. While the Harley Quinn show, like, they do girl power, but they don't do it at the expense of putting down the opposite sex or anyone else. They just go, Harley Quinn's a badass too. They don't downgrade the Joker. They don't make the Joker less of a smart guy, less of a genius, less of a manipulator, less of anything. They don't throw a line in there like Harley came up with all the Joker's best ideas. Like, no, she fucking didn't. No, she fucking didn't. But they still they still show that she can match him, that she can be in that category with him. Not that she is better than him, but she might be better than him because she's becoming a hero. And not to mention, they acknowledge Harley's past, they acknowledge that she's done fucked up things. The rated R-ness of it gives it an edge. It's a very damn good animated series. It's just fantastic. So I was excited for Season 2. Season 2 started off great. If you've watched Season 1, you know that Season 1 ended with the entire Justice League, except for Batman, trapped in a magical book. Gotham in disarray. Gotham completely fucked up because the Joker set off bombs at the end of Season 1 that completely fucked Gotham. The rest of Batman's Rose Gallery, the Penguin, you know, Mr. Freeze, and Two-Face, and Bane and all of them, they're taking over and splitting up what's left of Gotham. Batman has disappeared mysteriously after saving Harley and Poison Ivy. Batman mysteriously is missing in action. We don't know what happened to Batman, so that's an interesting little plug that was played up for the first couple episodes. I'd say for the first 4 episodes that was played up. And Harley Quinn and her crew are left with one option and one option only. And I believe Harley Quinn and her crew are left with one option: to try to take over the town from the villains. It's her time to shine. It's chaos in the streets. The GCPD are completely either they've left and become criminals, or they're all dead. Gordon's the only GCPD member left, and he's kind of gone into a steep depression because no one believes in the GCPD, and Batman's missing. It's chaos at the beginning of the season, and it's beautiful chaos at the beginning of the season. And it was so good. The introduction of both Nora Frost, Mr. Freeze's wife, the introduction of who plays a fun character, the introduction of Joker without his Joker toxins in him, and how he's still this weirdo, but he's this super nice dude who slowly over the course of the season starts to have memories of what he used to be. You find out what happened to Batman and Batman's pride, and the introduction of Catwoman. You finally see Catwoman. The introduction of you finally see Mr. Freeze, because Mr. Freeze wasn't even in the first season. So the introduction of Mr. Freeze. There was so much into that. The relationship between Kite Man and Poison Ivy progresses in a beautiful way. There's some good action bits. There's just so much in that first season. And obviously the introduction of Batgirl. So there's a lot to have in that first season. And they're kind of going off book, because things happen that are just like, yeah, man, this can't be like a normal thing. Because, I mean, Batman's Robin seems to be Damian. So we don't know if Dick Grayson was a thing. Like, they don't really mention Dick Grayson, so we don't know if he was a thing. His Robin seems to be, like I said, it seems to be his son Damian. Batgirl is just getting into the fray in college, so that's kind of a new one. There's this thing going on with Batgirl and Gordon. But meanwhile, there's this story that's slowly built up in the background, which is Harley not knowing what she wants. The idea that Harley's not bad enough to really be a true supervillain, but she's not good and clean enough to be a superhero either. So there's that whole dichotomy that they play with. And like, she's not as bad as the worst villain. Like, she doesn't actually have it in her to be running Gotham, to be the villainous queen of Gotham. She doesn't actually have that bone in her. She's actually not that bad. And I'd say from about episodes 1 to like, it was a while, to like 10, maybe 11 or 12, it was fantastic. Suddenly, it kind of took a turn. Now, spoiler alert, throughout the course of the show, at one point, she ends up killing Penguin. Now, I was a bit shocked by that, because seemingly the show sort of protects, I mean, Scarecrow got killed, but like, for the most part, the show seemingly protects like the Batman's core villains, because they're his core villains. Like, if they die, then there's not really much show to come back to. And because one of the best things about season 1 was the interaction between Batman's rogues gallery, how you felt like all of these people knew each other, they've been around each other. Penguin knows Two-Face, everybody knows Bane, everyone knows the Joker. Like, they've been around each other so often trying to fight Batman that they have this rapport with each other. So you kind of got the feeling that they were not going to kill each other off. And she killed the Penguin, which I wasn't that big of a deal at first. Then it just kind of kept escalating. Eventually, she's sort of responsible for the death of Mr. Freeze, which was a good episode because it was a very twist. It was a huge twist on something that's usually done the opposite direction. But then it just kept going. First of all, there's an argument to be made that the Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy relationship and love and dating was set up through the course of the show with flashbacks and their relationship and their rapport, but I never got relationship. I never got love. I got best friends who support each other. And because when she started dating Kite Man, Poison Ivy started to become a better person. She started to come out of her shell more. She started to stop being ashamed of who she is and who the man she loves. There was so much things that would look like it was going in a positive direction with the Kite Man Poison Ivy relationship. There was never a moment where they made you think that this relationship wasn't working for both parties, wasn't going full for both parties. Like, both parties weren't all in on this. And then in the course of the show, eventually, even Harley was on board with their relationship in an episode where they're trying to get a special kind of ring. Kite Man's trying to get a special kind of ring for Poison Ivy to propose to her. And even Harley eventually roots for him. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, they kiss. They get both in prison and they kiss. And it becomes this weird love thing. This weird passionate love thing where it's like, deep down I loved you, deep down you were always the one. And it just kind of came out of left field for me, especially since the show did such a fantastic job of making Kite Man such a great character and making you root for that relationship, that I didn't want the Harley and Poison Ivy relationship. Not that I don't have a problem with it, but I do think the shit that Poison Ivy pulled on Kite Man the way that made him feel, and granted, he's a confident enough man, and granted, they only wrote this in so that the audience wouldn't be pissed off at Poison Ivy, because if Kite Man wasn't cool with the fact that she was in love with another woman and wanted to leave him for Harley, it would have been a totally different feeling. And I will say this too. If Kite Man was a woman and Poison Ivy was a man, and she was cheating on him with another woman, when he was cheating on her with another woman, and then they left her, and then basically left her at the altar, basically, that would have played a lot differently to the audiences. And I have no problem with a lesbian relationship in anything. Who cares? You've seen me on my soapbox about Captain Marvel and all these different things before. I don't care. You saw my video on the Eternals. I don't care. But I will say, one of the things that has become bothersome to me, especially with, and it happens with all things, but whenever there's a lesbian or gay couple in a show or a movie, or most of the time shows, they tend to be this perfect couple. Unless you get like a sitcom thing, like Modern Family, typically speaking, if you see a lesbian or a gay couple in anything, they pretty much tend to be perfect. And I get the idea is you don't want to show it in any negative context, but to me, this was a bit much, because it kind of felt like basically that they got a pass on fucking over Kite Man simply because it was a lesbian relationship and it was from the comics. Which it is from the comics. It's very well documented. But I wanted, and granted, I'm not going to say that just because I wanted this that it ruined it for me. But what I wanted was for both Harley and Ivy to find someone and then find their way to each other. But to fuck over Kite Man like that, and to conveniently write in the line of dialogue that Kite Man basically went, "It's okay, go off with her." It's like, you guys wrote that because you knew if you didn't write that, the audience would have been like, so you just fucked over Kite Man. Like that's what I was thinking. And I was just like, dude, whatever. And like I said, I don't like I really did not like the final episodes of this season. I really didn't. They made Batman look stupid. They made the Justice League look stupid. They made, all of a sudden, it was just not good to me. Like, it really soured me. I gotta give Harley Quinn Season 2 a 7 out of 10. I can't condemn it completely because I had so much fun with the first, I'd say 10 to 11 episodes that I can't condemn it for, the last, 4 episodes. But I gotta tell you, it really soured me by the end. By the end, I was supposed to be happy that Harley and them are in love and riding off, and I just wasn't. I just really wasn't. I just felt like it was cheap. I felt like it came out of left field. I felt like the only reason people are okay with it because it was a man being okay, because she was a woman being in love with another woman, which kind of made you feel a little awkward about even saying anything negative about it. So everyone was just okay with it, and it was from the comics as well. So that's what I gotta say about Harley Quinn Season 2. It was still fun, but the last couple episodes, for me personally, I really didn't like. It really soured me, and by the end, I was just like, I'm sitting there watching it going, dude, I hope they go a different direction than what they're about to do, because what they're about to do is kind of fucked up. Joking on my own spit. And I know when they come out with a Season 3, if they do come out with a Season 3, they're going to just be like, Kite Man's okay, he moved on. And that's what they're going to do, because they want you to just be like, and I saw it. I saw the shiftiness there, and the way they executed. And that's what I said, I made a comment on it. I'm not upset about her leaving Kite Man to go with Poison Ivy. I'm upset about how they got there. I'm not upset that Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn became a couple. That was kind of a given the nature of the show. I'm upset how they got there. Thank you guys for coming to the Comic Game Movie Show. Please remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.